What's up everyone, it's Karthik with MoneyVest. Get ready for the Tesla event. So the day has finally arrived, October 10th, 10:10 Robotaxi event from Tesla is going to take place at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern in New York, and of course 7:30 in the morning over here in India and 6 a.m. in Dubai. So we got a lot of different time zones and this is going to be a very, very critical and overly hyped event for Tesla. I'm 500 shares long on Tesla. As you guys know, it's one of my biggest positions, so it's going to be a very, very important day. However, in the options portfolio, I do have 100 shares kind of covered against a $260 call strike expiring this Friday, and that's really when we're going to see most of the price action, because Tesla's event is going to happen after the markets had already closed. So we're going to see the events of the we're going to see the reaction from this event after the markets have already closed out on Thursday. So this right here is going to be the We Robot day from Tesla, starting for me October 11th, because it's going to be after midnight at 7:30 in the morning, and that's going to be 10 p.m. New York time and 7 p.m. Pacific. So moving forward, as we know, Dan Ives, as one of the biggest bulls on Wall Street for Tesla, says, and I quote, "Tomorrow Tesla will be hosting its long-awaited Robotaxi event, kicking off at 10 p.m. Eastern in LA, which we will be attending live for this historic event. We continue to believe that artificial intelligence, FSD, represents close to $1 trillion in value alone for Tesla over the coming years. Big day ahead." And he also mentioned that Tesla is the most undervalued AI play in the market. So Tesla is approaching its most hyped event in a decade. Here's what Wall Street is expecting from Robotaxi event. And this right here was from Kathy Woods, essentially talking about this is the most hyped event that Musk has had in almost a decade. They've been talking about this autonomous driving, the Robotaxi, for about 10 years. And now we finally get to see what's underneath the hood. So as we already know, that there's been a lot of disagreements about Tesla's valuation and whether this is an electric vehicle company or an artificial intelligence and technology company. And I think this event is really going to reiterate some of the things that we already kind of understand, that Tesla at the end of the day is going to be an artificial intelligence and again technology company for the long term, because they've got a very similar sort of business model like Apple, where the iPhones, in this case the electric vehicles, are just the hardware that they want to install right in the entire world pretty much. And eventually they're going to make most of their money from services and from robotaxis and FSD, like a lot of things that they're working on that have higher margins. EVs, of course, don't have a high margin. It's really services and the added on, FSD and autonomous driving and robotaxis that really is a high margin business. This right here was from UBS, and they said that we wouldn't be surprised to see relative strength in the stock leading into the event. However, Tesla has been pretty much flat this entire week. But can Tesla live up to the expectations and sustain momentum post-event? We are less convinced on this front. Tesla is hosting the Robotaxi event at Warner Bros. Discovery Movie Studio, and the venue may be able to demo the self-driving car with a Hollywood polish, but there is some irony in hosting it in a Hollywood studio. Waymo runs actual robotaxi services in the real world in LA and San Francisco and more. And again, $1 trillion worth of value. He's got an outperform rating on Tesla that's Dan Ives at Wedbush, and putting a price target close to $300. And they also mentioned that AI and FSD represents a $1 trillion standalone valuation, with an energy business as is reported to extremely robust quarters in a row. We already established passenger electric vehicle business, and things like Optimus looming behind. Ives projections mean Tesla would be valued at well over $1 trillion in the future. And then of course we also need the new cheaper vehicle, $25,000 electric vehicle, or a robo van, as what Gene Munster from Deepwater Management also predicted, bringing new customers to the table, increasing demand for its vehicles, and surely bring the automakers over 2 million unit deliveries on an annual basis. Wedbush again reiterates the outperformance on the stock, putting a $300 price target on the company. So this is going to be a very, very important day. I'm going to move my YouTube music. So Tesla here, $240 is where it ended up closing at. And if I go over to the analysis from over here, by the way, pre-market we just opened, Tesla is up over 68 basis points back up to 242. And this right here is the entire breakdown for the stock right now, still well within the context of this uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. And of course, the very important resistance stays put inside this area of rectangle. So that's the red rectangle sitting roughly at around 265 to as much as $300. So in the past, as you'll notice, that we have consistently gotten rejected at this area of resistance. This right here is going to be that area of supply for Tesla right now, sitting somewhere between $270 and $300. That's a $30 range within which Tesla has been getting rejected. There's been an area of supply. There's a big wall of supply sitting for Tesla in and around those levels at the moment. And of course, support level is going to stay put down here at 230s, down to 225, down to as low as low 200s for Tesla as well. Coming over to the options chain. So all the contracts expiring this Friday. This Friday is going to be October 11th, including my contract with the 260 call strike. So I'm sitting right about there. And my call option, which I had sold for well over $6.15, right now is trading for about $1.93. So it's already come down significantly, which I'm up close to 60 to 70% on those calls, considering that Tesla is trading at 241 right now. And of course, if it gets back up to 255 or 260 post-event, that contract is going to get further and further close to the money, and then eventually in the money if it, of course, is trading above 260. But that being said, again, $1.93 is the contract that's the value of the contract that I personally have for the covered call. And then I have another contract, which is a $300 strike expiring on November 15th. So that one's also way out of the money right now. But I really want to go over some of the volumes for these, or really the open interest going into this event. So what we have is an open interest of 39,000, right? So almost 40,000 for the 260 call strike expiring Friday. That's the highest. And again, 270, we got 49,000. So combined, we're looking at over 80,000, almost 90,000 contracts between 260 and 270 call strikes. 28,000 is at $250 call strikes. So that again is also a pretty large number. And compare that to puts, they are really, really low. So there's really not a lot of open interest for puts. Even if you come down to out of the money puts, you got maybe 18,000 down to $230, 14,000 down to $225, and just a little bit over 15,000 down to $240 put strike for Tesla. So, obviously a lot less in open interest for these out of the money puts versus these out of the money calls, where we're sitting, well over 100,000 in a span of 240 all the way up to 270. So $30 range, we've got over 100,000+ contracts. Definitely a lot more than that, 120, 130,000. I'm just kind of eyeballing these open interest numbers. And then if you come down $30, which is going to be down to 210, we are most likely going to be sitting under 40,000, considering some of these numbers here. Maybe under 50,000. That's going to be that number if you add up all these values. So the bullish bias is still very optimistic going into this event for Tesla, and I will be live streaming this entire Robotaxi event if I'm able to wake up at 7:30 in the morning. But that's going to be the entire update. A big event coming up, and this is really going to reshape how Tesla is going to be looked at from a long-term perspective moving forward. A lot of institutional investors, a lot of analysts are going to redo their models after the Robotaxi event, because this is going to give Tesla some new vision of the future, right, with cybercab and robotaxis. And a lot of analysts are going to start rethinking how they view Tesla for the long term, right? So this is really kind of like a make it or break it moment for this stock. And I know the expectations are really high. It's been overly hyped, this entire event, especially when it was moved out from August to October. So a couple months of delay has built up more anticipation and more hype for this event. And usually, not always, but usually when the expectations are so high, it's very, very difficult to beat those expectations. So in other words, buy the rumor, sell the news has always played out in these binary events. We've learned that from the Battery Day, from Investor Day, from Optimus Day, from all the different days that Tesla has hosted in the past, and especially for a lot of other companies as well. It's the buildup, right, ahead of the event that makes the stock price obviously go up, but then after the event, it's difficult to sustain that momentum. Reason being is because anticipation has built those expectations so high that it's really difficult for the companies to meet let alone beat those expectations. So hope that makes sense. If the stock obviously does drop, which there is a possibility that it does, despite having a very call net bullish bias based on the options chain, support level is going to be down in the 230s. So this right here is a level that I could see Tesla come down to in case expectations are not met. And of course, Wall Street is maybe a tad disappointed from this Robotaxi event. So that could be, about a 2.5%, close to 3% sell-off, maybe even more. The majority I could see it down to is about 225. That's going to be about a 6.5% sell-off for Tesla. So those right there are going to be a couple support levels to watch for Tesla. The first one around 235, the second one at 225. And if we do see any type of bullish bias, 250, of course, huge call strike up to as much as 260 and 270. A couple other really important levels to watch for Tesla going into this event. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be very wild where Tesla opens Friday pre-market. So hope you all enjoyed this video, found it helpful. Make sure that you drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Again, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining us. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And what do you think about Tesla's Robotaxi event, and what are your anticipations for what's going to happen on Friday with Tesla stock, and what's going to be that reaction from analysts and Wall Street, and of course the price action as well. Happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.